How would you assess Aaron's performance tonight?
How would you?
That was Mike Tomlin's response after being asked about his Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers' performance on primetime Sunday Night Football. And you know what he said? How would you? How would you rate his performance? You know what that means? I rate it. It was putrid. It was awful. It was terrible. That had to be one of the worst games of his career. Because the Steelers' offense, which has been their bright spot all year, the Steelers, the ones that are prided on defense, the one that their offense always sucks. The offense has been the bright spot to start the year, kind of. I'm not going to say it's been great. It's been mid. But the defense was terrible. But for the last 2 weeks, the defense has been great. And the offense can't hold their own. The offense just can't do anything. And especially in this game against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, the offense almost put me to sleep. They put me to sleep. I was looking forward to watching Aaron Rodgers versus a young quarterback. No. Aaron Rodgers, he had the worst quarterback performance of the week. It was a worse performance than Trevor Lawrence and Michael Penix. At least the game was close. That was awful. Steelers 10, Chargers 25 on Sunday Night Football. A pretty important game when it comes to AFC wildcard standings because the Chargers are in a tough division. Now they won. They set themselves up to be in a prime spot to even try to win the division, even since they beat the Chiefs once. And the Steelers were looking to win this game because the Ravens just got Lamar Jackson back, and they have all the momentum winning their last 2 games straight, and they're looking great, and Lamar's looking great. You know, they're only 1 game back of the Steelers now after this loss. So the Steelers really wanted this win for playoff purposes to win the division, to set themselves up to win the division. The Chargers also wanted for the same reason, and they're in a much tougher division. They're looking at 3 playoff teams coming out of the AFC West, possibly. But the Steelers didn't look like they're contenders. And there's no way they're contenders. I mean, they'll probably squeak their way into the playoffs in the 7th seed. But whether they go on the road to New England or LA again, they see LA again, or they see the Broncos, they ain't going to win. They're not contenders. They're not getting out the first round. It's the same old Steelers. As long as they have Aaron Rodgers and that offense looking like that, and they have Arthur Smith, that offensive coordinator. Because, you know, you can say Aaron Rodgers also, I do say Aaron Rodgers played terrible. He did not play a good game. But Arthur Smith didn't do him no help in calling those plays. I mean, sometimes there's no one open. Just running, you know, they found something in the run game, 70 yards for Jaylen Warren on 14 carries. He got them all. Jaylen Warren was the one who got them all the way to the red zone when it was 15-3 in the 4th quarter with 13 minutes left, and they could have made it a 1-score game. And 2nd and 6, they throw the ball 3 straight times on terrible plays. One of them was an RPO that wasn't open. Then he tried to force it on a goal line faded DK Metcalf. It was terrible. It was putrid. Terrible offense. It was terrible offensive play calling, and even the plays, you know, Aaron Rodgers was missing players. Players were dropping balls. Terrible offense. You know, Aaron Rodgers wasn't able to make plays. He was trying to step up in the pocket way too much, trying to do too much, and he couldn't connect, or he just got sacked. Flat out sacked. The Chargers did a great job putting pressure on him, and then when they put pressure on him, Aaron Rodgers, 4 years old, he doesn't even want to stand in the pocket. So then guess what? His throws are off target. But you also got receivers like tight end like Jonnu Smith dropping an easy ball that could have put him in the red zone. Could have put him right there by the goal line. And you know what happened? After that, they didn't get the touchdown. Field goal kicking team comes on. Chris Boswell missed a field goal. You know, that swung the game also. That swung the game majorly. But still, it's the same old Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, you think they finally got at least a decent quarterback. To where they can win a playoff game finally. No, they don't. As long as Arthur Smith is their offense coordinator, Aaron Rodgers is their QB, nothing special is going to happen for them to magically finally win a wildcard game. They might, as I said, they might squeak their way into the playoff spot with a 10-7 record, which they would be lucky to get 10 wins. They will be lucky to get 10 wins. You know, starting off the season the way they did with the division lead they did, you'll think they'll run away with the division. No, Lamar Jackson's back. And it's just about time. It's just about time for the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers' little run he had with the Steelers. It's about to get wrapped up real soon because the Steelers faced the Ravens twice. And I don't see them winning one of those games after this performance. And the defense, we saw their weaknesses early in the season. They came out the last 2 weeks and been really good. I think they're going to come back down to reality, and the offense is just not going to be able to carry the weight. And the offense wasn't able to do their role and get in this win either, because the Chargers didn't do anything special through the first 3 quarters. The Chargers didn't do anything special through the first 2 quarters to convince me that they're such a better team than the Steelers. But the Steelers weren't able to show that they were a better team or they were able to win this game at all. They weren't. I mean, through the first 3 quarters, they got a safety. It was 3-2 in the first. Then the Chargers scored 10 in the second. And it was only 3-12 going into halftime. 3-12. The Steelers should be able to, at least keep it close, keep it going, get a score in the third quarter. No, they went scoreless. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 161 yards, 2 interceptions. Overthrew DK Metcalf, set the Chargers up for prime field position to get a touchdown. And that's what happened. And that's why this Chargers scored that 1 touchdown in the first half. It was because they had great field position. And the Steelers had great field position in their first 2 series. In their first 2 drives, they were set up with great field position by the special teams. And guess what? They didn't do shit with it. They had to kick a 60-yard field goal. As I said, Aaron Rodgers, 161 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Got sacked 3 times. But after that, the receiving. Roman Wilson led the team in receiving 35 yards. He only had a bullshit touchdown at the end of the game. That's why he had it. Long 27-yard reception. But before that, DK Metcalf only had 3 receptions for 35 yards. Aaron Rodgers couldn't connect with him on the deep ball. It was DK Metcalf did run parallel while Rodgers was rolling out left, which is not smart. You got to go upfield because that's the only way he's going to throw it. No way he throws it, flying to the left while you're going to the right to the sideline. You got to go up on that. That could have been DK's fault, but they couldn't connect on the big play. And from then, the Chargers took away every deep play that they could possibly get. They said 3 receptions, 35 yards, and then Pat Freiermuth having the second most receiving yards, only 2 less receiving yards than your star wide receiver. That's awful. That's awful. This is not an offense that's going to win any playoff game, and especially if they're on the road, because they're not winning that division. They are not winning that division. They had their shot, and they couldn't capitalize on it. Losing this game, they could have won this game if the offense came out competent. If they came out decent. If the offense was decent, they could have won this game. But they didn't. And they lost that close game to the Bengals. They fell apart against the Packers. They had their shot. They should be at least 2 games up at this point on the Ravens. But that's it. Lamar Jackson back. And now if you look at the schedule remaining for the Steelers, look at the schedule. You got the Bengals, that's a win. But then you got the Bears. The Bears are rolling. They're a last-second team. I like the Bears' offense, especially against the Steelers' defense. You see the DB struggle. They just lost Darius Slay. Then they play the Bills. The Bills are looking to win games. They just lost to the Dolphins. Then they play the Ravens. The Ravens twice. And the Lions. They have the Dolphins and the Browns. Those will probably be 2 wins. The Bengals. That's 3 wins. They're 5-4. That's 8-win season. And then you got to win one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Okay, you might beat the Bears. That's 9 wins. Is 9 wins enough? Is 9 wins enough to try and get a wild card spot? It probably will be for Mike Tomlin, because he always seems to get the wild card spot. But you got a 3-team division in the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. I don't see any of those 3 teams not making the playoffs. And the lowest seeded one, the one with the worst record right now is the Chiefs. Do you see the Chiefs not making the playoffs? Do you see the Broncos, who I believe are 8-2, 2-loss team, not making the playoffs? The Chargers, you just got beat by. You're not jumping them in the playoffs. Yeah, and I like the Texans, the way their defense playing. They could be a playoff team. The Bills and the Patriots, that's the AFC East. That's a 2 playoff team division. So that's another wild card spot. I don't see the Steelers. They might make the playoffs. They might squeak their way 9-7 somehow. But they're not getting past that first round. And that was the hope this season, was to get past the first round. And it's not going to be. They had their best quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger here. But he's not doing anything special, and Arthur Smith is not anything special, or is not a magician. He's not an offensive guru. He is a basic. He just runs basic dink and dunk Madden plays. He's not trying to do anything special. He didn't roll Aaron Rodgers out enough. None of that. And look, I'm not a Steelers fan. I don't care. But after watching that, I care, because I think there could be more in the offense with Aaron Rodgers. And the Steelers should be a better team. But, man, I'm tired of the Steelers, after that win against the Colts. They're being talked about as actually being able to win a playoff game now, or being able to do something in the playoffs now instead of just being a one and done team every year. And they have their best quarterback. They have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a mid quarterback right now, and their offense sucks. And their defense, you saw earlier in the season, they can suck at times. So there's nothing, and I mean nothing special about the Steelers. And I'm tired of it. That's it. The Ravens are taking the division. They're going to be a one. This is my prediction. The Ravens are taking the division, and it's going to be the AFC North is going to be a one-team playoff team. It's going to be a one playoff team division. It's going to be the division winner, and that's it. Because the Steelers and the Ravens are the only two real playoff team hopefuls in that division, and the Bengals are three prayers away. But Steelers have a tough schedule. I don't see them getting to 10 wins. They might scratch the way to 9. And it's unfortunate because the Steelers really thought they had their best team in a while, but the AFC is just like that. The AFC is just like that. The AFC West is like that. You got two killer teams in the AFC East, despite the Bills losing this week to my Miami Dolphins. Go Dolphins. The Steelers also aren't beating the Dolphins. But that's it. Sunday Night Football. If you didn't watch it, bless your eyes. And if you did, I'm sorry that we had to watch that shit. Because that was awful. 25-10. The Chargers. Chargers looking a real good team. Looking like a real... They set themselves up for a real chance at the playoffs. They're probably going to make the playoffs. They set themselves up nicely at this point in the season. But they also need to get some things going on offense. You know, they didn't get going until they got that short field position thankfully by Aaron Rodgers overthrowing DK Metcalf. They didn't show anything great on offense until the fourth quarter. So they also need to get some things going. But they will be fine. I believe they'll be fine. Jim Harbaugh and them, they'll be fine. And the Steelers, we've seen the same pattern over and over again, and nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change until they get either a quarterback or, Mike Tomlin is gone. And that's the unfortunate truth. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Steelers, I feel bad.